Stop learning words. Learn phrases instead. Here is why. If you've ever memorized a bunch of vocabulary and still frozen in real conversations, this is for you.
Today you'll learn how to switch from collecting single words to using ready-to-go phrases, so you can respond faster, sound more natural, and feel calmer in everyday situations like stores, neighbors, and small talk.
You know that moment when you know the word, but you don't know what to do with it? Like you can think of recommend, but your mouth just stops.
Yes, and then you do the classic thing. You translate in your head, build a sentence, and by the time you're ready, the conversation already moved on.
Exactly. That's why phrases are magic. They're like little pre-built bridges you can walk across without doing construction every time.
And phrases are how people actually talk. Nobody says one word at a time like a flashcard deck in the wild.
Let's make it real. Imagine you're at a coffee shop and you want something different. A single word like suggest isn't enough.
But a phrase like, "What do you recommend?" is a full move. It gets you the result you want.
Also, phrases come with the rhythm. Your voice knows where to go, so you sound smoother, even if you're nervous.
And when you learn phrases, you learn the tiny words too. Do, you, what, the glue that actually holds speaking together.
Okay, quick test. If you only know the word late, what can you do with it? Not much, right?
But if you know sorry I'm running late, you can survive real life. That's a whole message.
Let's do a little call and response. You answer out loud, even if you're alone. Ready?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure yet.
I'm not sure, but I can check.
See how that grows? One phrase, 3 levels, and suddenly you can handle a conversation.
And you didn't memorize 100 new words. You just learned one useful pattern you can reuse.
Here's another real moment. You bump into a neighbor, and they ask how it's going. Single words feel awkward.
Right, because fine is technically correct, but it can feel like a door slamming. A phrase opens the door.
Pretty good, just a busy week.
Or, can't complain. How about you?
Notice how these phrases buy you time. They keep the conversation moving while your brain catches up.
And they reduce pressure. You're not inventing English from scratch every time someone talks to you.
Could you say that again?
Now, upgrade it. Could you say that again, a little slower?
And the friendly version. Sorry, could you say that again? I missed it.
Here's the big idea. Phrases are the unit of real speaking. When you learn only single words, you still have to decide the order, the helper words, the tone, and the timing in the moment. That's a lot to juggle while someone is waiting for you to answer. A phrase gives you a full response that already sounds normal, so your brain can focus on meaning instead of construction. Think of phrases as ready meals instead of raw ingredients. You can still cook later, but when you're hungry, ready meals keep you alive.
Let's walk through a normal day and see where phrase learning pays off. You're at a store and you can't find something. If you only know the word where, you're stuck. But with a phrase like, Excuse me, where can I find that? You can ask for anything, in any store, forever. And if you want to be extra polite, you can add a tiny softener. Do you happen to know where I can find? That one phrase can cover groceries, pharmacies, hardware stores, any place you walk into.
Now imagine you're checking out and something is confusing. Instead of hunting for the perfect vocabulary, you can use flexible phrases that fit almost any problem. I think there's a mistake here. Could you help me with this? Sorry, I'm a little confused. What does this mean? These aren't fancy, they're just practical. And when you practice them ahead of time, your mouth will actually say them when you're under stress.
A lot of learners accidentally study for a quiz instead of studying for a life. A quiz rewards isolated words. You see a picture of an apple, you say apple, you get a point. But life rewards moves. Life rewards the ability to ask, clarify, react, and keep things friendly. Phrases are moves. That makes sense. I'm not used to that. Give me a second. What do you mean? When you collect moves, you can play the game of conversation instead of watching from the sidelines.
Let's do a quick call and response practice with phrases you can use anywhere. Repeat after me. That sounds good. Now, that sounds good to me. Now, that sounds good. What time were you thinking? Notice what happened. You didn't need rare vocabulary. You used small, common words in a useful shape. These are the phrases that make you sound natural because they're the phrases native speakers reach for without thinking.
Here's a simple way to build your phrase bank. Take one situation and create a mini set of 5 phrases for it. For example, small talk with friends. You can prepare, "What have you been up to? How's your week going? That's awesome. No way, really? And good for you." If you know those, you can survive a lot of casual chats. Then you add a few follow-ups. How did that go? How did you feel about it? What happened next? That's where conversations get longer. And it's also where learners usually run out of English.
Another everyday scenario. Making plans. Single words like maybe or busy don't do enough work by themselves. But phrases like I might be free on Saturday, let me check my schedule, and I can't this week, but maybe next week, keep things smooth. They also keep you from sounding too direct when you don't mean to. When you only know the word no, you might sound harsh. When you know I'd love to, but I can't, you sound warm while still being clear.
Let's talk about the fear that comes up for a lot of people. If I learn phrases, will I become a robot? No. If anything, phrases make you more human because you can respond in the moment. The goal isn't to repeat one exact sentence forever. It's to have a starting point that you can slightly adjust. I'm looking for becomes I'm looking for a gift. Then, I'm looking for a gift for my friend. Then, I'm looking for a gift for my friend. Do you have any ideas? One base phrase, endless variations.
A helpful trick is to learn phrases in families. Take do you want to and build the family. Do you want to grab coffee? Do you want to come with us? Do you want to try this? Then learn the responses. Sure, I'd love to. Maybe another time. I'm down. I'm not really feeling it today. When you learn both the invitation and the response, you're not just speaking, you're participating. You're not waiting for the other person to carry the whole interaction.
Okay, let's practice a tiny conversation like you'd have with a friend. I'll say a line, you respond out loud. Do you want to grab coffee sometime? Your options: yeah, that sounds great. Or, I'd love to. When are you free? Or, I can't this week, but maybe next week. Now I'll add a follow-up. Cool. What day works for you? You can say, how about Thursday? Or, let me check and get back to you. These are phrases that keep the momentum.
Phrases also help with listening. When you learn a phrase, you start noticing it in movies, podcasts, and real conversations. It's like your brain highlights it. If you only learn single words, you hear a blur. But when you know phrases like, "Are you kidding me?" or "I'm just messing with you," you suddenly catch the meaning of a whole chunk. That's why phrase learning can make your listening improve faster than you expect. You stop trying to decode every word, and you start recognizing units of meaning.
Let's go into the daily life situations people actually talk about. In an apartment building, you might run into someone by the elevator. You don't need a perfect sentence. You need a friendly, easy phrase. How's it going? Long day? You heading out? I like your shoes. And if you don't want to talk long, you can exit politely with phrases like, all right, have a good one. Or, I should get going, but it was nice seeing you. Those are social tools. They keep things comfortable.
At work or school, the same principle applies, but we'll keep it casual and real. You can use phrases like, "Can I run something by you?" "Do you have a minute?" "Just to clarify," and "What's the plan for today?" These phrases are simple, but they're powerful because they create structure. They signal what you need without you having to sound perfect. And if you make a mistake after that, people are usually patient because you communicated your intention clearly.
Now, how do you actually study phrases without getting overwhelmed? One way is to stop writing long vocabulary lists and start writing mini scenes. Write a scene like ordering food and collect 10 phrases you hear over and over. Can I get? For here or to go? Anything else? That's it. Could I have some water? Then rehearse them like you're acting. Say them while you're walking, cleaning, or cooking. You're training your mouth, not just your eyes.
Another way is the one-word, three phrases rule. Pick a common word you already know, like get, and build 3 phrases you can actually use. Where do I get this? I can't get it to work. Let's get going. Or take make. Can I make a suggestion? That makes sense. I'll make it quick. You see how that works? You're not abandoning words. You're upgrading them into useful shapes.
Let's do a short practice set for being at someone's place. Like a friend invites you over. Repeat, thanks for having me. Now, do you want me to take my shoes off? Now, where should I put this? And a polite offer. Can I help with anything? Those phrases make you feel confident because you know what to do socially. Confidence isn't just vocabulary. It's knowing the normal lines for the situation.
What about when you don't understand someone? This is where phrases can save you from nodding and pretending. Practice these. Sorry, I didn't catch that. What was that last part? Can you explain what you mean? Could you give me an example? And here's a really friendly one. I think I get it, but can you say it another way? If you can say those calmly, you'll learn faster because you'll get real clarification instead of guessing.
One mistake people make is learning phrases that are technically correct, but not the ones people actually use. So here's the filter. Does this phrase show up in your real life? Would you say it to a friend? Would you hear it in a store? If yes, keep it. If it feels like a textbook sentence nobody says, let it go. Your goal is not to sound advanced. Your goal is to be understood easily and to connect with people without stress. That's what phrases do.
Let's talk about variety, so you don't repeat the exact same sentence all the time. Build switchable phrases. For example, I'm into lately. I'm trying to more. I've been meaning to more. I'm kind of over more. With those, you can talk about hobbies, food, exercise, shows, anything. And because the frame stays the same, you don't have to invent the structure each time. You just swap the idea inside.
Here's a fun practice. Pretend you're talking to a friend about weekend plans. I'll give you prompts, and you answer out loud with a phrase. Prompt 1. You're tired. You can say, I'm pretty wiped out, or I'm gonna take it easy. Prompt 2. You're busy. Say, I've got a lot going on, or my schedule's packed. Prompt 3. You're free later. Say, I'm free after 6, or I can do later tonight. These are everyday lines that make you sound natural because they're normal.
Now, a quick word about memory, without making it a lecture. Your brain remembers things that have emotion and context, so attach phrases to moments you've actually lived. Maybe you once spilled coffee and wanted to say something. Learn, oops, my bad. Maybe you needed to leave a conversation. Learn, I'm going to head out. Maybe someone showed you something cool. Learn, that's so cool. How did you do that? When you connect a phrase to a real moment, it sticks way better than a random list.
If you want a simple weekly plan, do this. Pick 3 situations for the week, like shopping, neighbors, and making plans. For each one, collect 10 phrases. That's 30 phrases in a week, but they're not random, they're connected. Then you recycle them. On day 3, you review day 1. On day 5, you do a quick role play and mix them. The goal is quick recall, not perfect writing. You want your mouth to find the phrase automatically when the situation shows up.
Let's do one longer role play together, like you're at a small local shop. I'll be the worker for a moment, and you respond out loud. Hi there, can I help you find something? You can say, yeah, I'm looking for X. If I ask, what kind are you thinking? You can say, something simple, or not too expensive, or just browsing, honestly. Then if I offer an option and you don't like it, you can say, I'm not sure that's what I want, or do you have anything a little cheaper? These phrases keep you polite and clear without you having to search for perfect words.
And if you want to sound friendly, you can add tiny phrase starters that soften everything. I was wondering, do you mind if? Would it be possible to? Real quick. You don't need to use them every time, but when you have them, you can choose your tone. Tone matters in daily life. Phrases give you tone options, not just meaning options.
One more technique. Steal phrases from people you like. Not in a weird way. Just notice what you naturally enjoy hearing. Maybe a friend always says, no worries. Maybe someone says, that's fair. Maybe you hear, I'm down for that. Write it down. Say it a few times. Then use it once in a real conversation. The first time might feel awkward, but after that, it becomes yours. That's how language becomes personal instead of academic.
Sometimes learners worry, but what if I say a phrase and it doesn't fit perfectly? That's okay. Native speakers do that too. The goal is not perfection, it's flow. If a phrase is a little off, people usually still understand you, and you can fix it with another phrase. I mean, let me rephrase that. What I'm trying to say is, those are repair tools. When you have repair tools, you speak more confidently because mistakes aren't scary anymore. They're just a normal part of talking.
Let's do a repair tool practice. Repeat, let me think. Now, how do I say this? Now, what I'm trying to say is, and one more, that came out wrong. Sorry. These lines are incredibly useful because they keep you in the conversation even when your brain is searching. You don't disappear. You stay present. And that's often the difference between a short, awkward interaction and a real, comfortable one.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's make sure you leave with a clear phrase strategy you can actually use tonight. Step 1. Choose one situation you'll face soon. Maybe ordering food, chatting with a neighbor, or texting a friend. Step 2. Write 10 phrases for that situation, including at least 2 questions, 2 responses, 2 clarifiers, and 2 polite exits. Step 3. Practice them out loud for 5 minutes. Step 4. Use at least one phrase in real life. After you use it once, it stops being study material and becomes part of you.
And if you ever feel tempted to go back to random word lists, just remember, words are ingredients, but phrases are meals. If you only collect ingredients, you might still starve in the middle of a conversation. If you collect meals, you can eat right away, and you can slowly learn to cook better over time. That's the calm path. That's the practical path. And it works because it matches how people actually talk in daily life.
All right, that's it for today. Pick one situation, learn 10 phrases, and use one tonight. If this helped, subscribe and leave a quick like so more learners find it.